homes that people desperately need.
Honestly, I think there's so much kind of picking on particular species and kind of trying to pretend that they are the thing that are blocking building. We need to recognise that nature is not the thing getting in the way of building. The profit motive is.
But quite, and you talked about the unbuilt planning commissions. The big reason for that is there is a viability challenge. And the reason for the viability challenge is because the planning system takes so long. Some of these things are taking years and years and years. And over that time, all of that delay costs money. This is about simplifying the system. And we just get this country building the homes, the infrastructure that, my God, we so desperately need.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem to say that it is nature holding things back.
You think a planning system that takes decades in order to achieve something is sustainable, given the threats that we face? We're not even going to come close to combating climate change unless we speed up the way infrastructure is built in this country.
This conversation is actually much more about housing, right? And most planning applications are determined really pretty quickly. And in most planning applications, environmental protections are only a tiny part of the decision-making process.
I know that. Infrastructure bill. Infrastructure is 50% of the time. And most of the amendments that have gone down that we're talking about are amendments particularly thinking about how we can speed up the process and ensure it is a smoother path for those infrastructure projects to go from application to delivery.
Chris Curtis and Ellie Chowns. And finally, this week marks 100 years exactly since the birth of Margaret Thatcher. I first met her over 50 years ago at a charity event at which she spotted me pinch a sausage off the plate of another child. "Who's a naughty boy?" the Iron Lady said, before calling in air support from Rod Hull's Emu, who also happened to be in attendance. "Thatcher provokes emu assault on small child" might have been the headline. Someone with slightly more in-depth knowledge of Mrs. Thatcher and what it was like to work with her in the cauldron of British politics in the 1970s and 80s is Michael, now Lord Heseltine. I began by asking him what she was like on a personal level.
I think probably when I first got to know her, I found her quite difficult. We were in opposition, and the purpose of opposition is to persuade people to vote for you. And she seemed to want to lecture everybody. But what I do know is that when I became one of her substantive cabinet colleagues,